What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video we've got another tutorial on the Yamaha Aerox. I'm going to show you guys how to replace and clean the brake fluid and flush the system out and bleed them at the end to give yourself some fresh and properly working brakes. The reason we're doing this is on this particular ped the brake's completely gone. I think there's been a leak in one of the seals or something, or the fluid's just that old and worn out, it's not doing anything. There's sort of not got any resistance in it. When you push the lever you just go all the way and nothing happens. So without further ado, let's have a look at it and I'll tell you guys how to remove the old fluid, replace it with new fluid and give the system a good flush and bleed them in the process. So let's go. So as I was saying before, if you have a look here, pull the back brake in all the way and it's all connected up and stuff. One of them did work a few months ago and nothing happens at all. That's all the way in. And same with the front brakes, pull it in, nothing happens, and you can push the bike with them both fully pulled in. So I think we might have a leak on this side. I've noticed a bit of fluid escaping it. All this is wet anyway because it's raining. We're currently under cover, but it's been outside a bit first. So I think it's a split in this seal. There's definitely a bit of brake fluid around here, so it could be the cause of it for this rear brake. If that's the case, we're going to have to either replace this rubber grommet and the seal behind it, or however it works, if that's possible, or if not, it might even be a new rear brake lever. But we'll look into that and I'll let you guys know what happens with that. And on this side, I don't know, it did work not so long ago. There's no signs of any leaks at this end. I've not had a proper look down the pipes yet, but you know, the braided hoses, so the hose themselves wouldn't have split. They could have leaked for any of these connections here. We don't know. I think the first thing I'm going to do is put a bit of fluid in each one of these little reserves at the top and see if it creates any pressure or it does anything. See if I can see any fluid coming out and get it flowing again. So if there is a leak, it'll show me and it'll leak out. Right guys, the first thing you want to do is get a Phillips screwdriver, sort of a medium size, and undo the two screws on top of the reservoir which holds the brake fluid. There's one on each side for the front and back brakes. So I'm going to start on the front brake first. So I've undone these two in this Phillips screwdriver like I said. Look at the back of that, look at all the residue where it's sort of dried up, the bits of remaining fluid and corroded the metal. Not good. So we're going to give all this a good clean. I'm going to use a wire brush I think and a cleaner or a bit of just WD-40 or something and tidy it up. Get that sort of residue off. I don't know what to touch it too much, not good. So like I said before, just use a wire brush to quickly clean up the back of this straight away. I'd recommend wearing gloves or something. It's not good on your skin brake fluid, so put some gloves on guys. And also if we come over here to the top of the tank, just have a quick look in there, you can see how over time the fluid has sort of congealed into this jelly sort of substance. So I'm going to get all that out for sure, and I'm just hoping it's not too badly in the pipes and it's not blocked all the pipes up, but we'll get the worst of it out, we'll clean it up, get some fresh fluid in it, and hopefully it'll push it all through when we undo the bottom and be able to squeeze out the rest of this crap in the pipes. Right guys, it is the next day. It's still raining though, as you can probably hear. So since the last clip I've replaced all the fluid after cleaning out the reservoir up here, and still had no pressure, no joy. I tried bleeding it but nothing was coming through. So first I thought the pipes were blocked, which is why I've took the pipe off and sort of checked the caliper itself, took that off and split it open and checked everything, and it's all clear and fluid can get through. So it looks like there's a seal gone in this. It does happen, it's been sat for a long time, which means that there's just no air pressure getting built up inside it, so it'll never push the fluid through properly. So what I'm going to do for the sake of this video is to show you guys still how to bleed in. I'm going to put everything back together now and show you guys the bleeding process. Even though it won't actually push any fluid through, I'll show you what to do on your own bike so you can finish the job. So next clip I'll show you how to set it up. And you don't, this is without a bleeding kit, this is just with bits you've got at home. You might need to buy a little length of pipe, but we'll show you that in a second. So the brakes are fully back together, or the front one is, caliper's back on, pipes are back on with the little O-rings to make sure it doesn't leak where it connects to the caliper and to the master cylinder itself. That's topped up with fresh fluid, it's all been cleaned out like I said, that lid's tight on. So, bleeding, you're going to need a bit of fluid, a jar and a pipe that fits tight over the bleed valve or bleed nipple here. What I want you to do is undo this valve just a little bit, a couple of turns, and get your pipe over the top like this. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And take your jar and fill it up about halfway with some fresh fluid, like I've done there. And the other end of the pipe's going to go into the fluid, make sure it's fully submerged in the fluid. And you're going to either do it yourself or get someone else to pump the brakes. And if your brakes are working properly, not like these, as the brakes are pumped, you should see air coming out the end of the pipe. You sort of raise to the top of the fluid in the jar. And also a bit of dirt and dirty fluid as it all comes through. If this is happening, it means that there's pressure in the system, it's pushing the fluid through and getting all the air out. So you just keep pumping the brakes until no more air is coming out of this pipe. And then before you lift the pipe out of the fluid or take it off this valve, you need to get your spanner on the bottom of the valve with the pipe still on and tighten it up. It's just nice and tight, and then you can take off the pipe and pull it out of the fluid. Now you might have lost a bit in this process, so what I'd recommend is you do that once, tighten the valve up, and then before you put all this away, your jar and that, take the top back off the the reservoir at the top here on the lever, top it back up with fluid if it needs it, put it back on, tighten up, and then repeat this process, loosen this valve off again, pump it through a few more times, tighten it up, and then you should have some nice tight working brakes. If they're still not working after this, or they're very, very spongy, or there's no pressure in them, you've probably got a leak either in the caliper, or where the pipe connects to the caliper, or in the cylinder itself, which I think is the problem with this one. I think it's leaking somewhere in the seals in here, where the lever pushes it in, because you still have nothing. And that basically is how to bleed the brakes. It's pretty generic on most motorbikes, it's all a similar sort of system. I hope you found this useful, guys. I'm going to end the video here. If you're new to the channel or you like what you see, you want to see more content on cars and motorbikes and loads of different tutorials on different cars, then hit that subscribe button. If you've got a request for a tutorial yourself, send us a direct message or comment on one of the videos. Other than that, guys, until next time, that's it from One Life. Peace.